Hello, everyone. You're listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. We're a radio, TV, and podcast station. We're the #1 internet singles talk network, and we're on goingsolomedia.com. The show you're watching today is actually, it's a bi-weekly show on Thursdays, and it's called Chicks Passions. And I am Cece Schatz, the doyenne of relationship building, and I have with me my good friend.
Hello, I'm Kathy Lamb.
And welcome to the show today. We're going to have a lot of fun because we are going to have a wonderful guest all the way from Australia. So I'm really, really excited. So let's bring her on. Kim?
Hello.
Yes. Hey, Kim.
From down under.
From down under.
How are you ladies today?
Yeah, we're great. So what's happening in everybody's world? I mean, we're still going through the virus a little bit here, but how's it there in Australia?
Well, we're doing pretty good here. We've got little outbreaks like everywhere else here and there. It just keeps popping up. And but in general, we're living life almost like normal. You know, we're still practicing social distancing to a sense, you know, not shaking hands and, you know, not doing the huggy when you see your girlfriends and stuff like that. But, you know, we're practicing it to a degree, but it feels like normal now. We're going out to the restaurants. And
so was
like
it bad at all for a while? Was it really bad? You know,
I don't think it was ever really bad here. I just think people got really scared because at the beginning there was such a big hype and everybody was just like, oh my God, you know, but as we all isolated for about a month, and then after that isolation, they started opening up phases of restaurants and cafes and things like that. And I think we just got scared, but I don't think it was ever really too bad.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully,
it's
absolutely using masks and keep doing the social distancing, because as long as it's around as much as it is, especially in the U.S., even though it's not over there, and we're not traveling, Americans aren't traveling over there, at least they're not allowed to right now. And I don't know if other countries are allowed to travel around, but we're not.
No countries are allowed to move at the moment. And it's just domestic travel at this point. But we will be opening up the Trans-Tasman, which means we'll be able to travel between Australia, New Zealand, and Fiji, I think mid-September. So they're going to keep those countries just to get a bit of that tourism going.
I would love to go to Fiji.
Me too. I would love that.
Oh, yeah.
Sign me up.
Maybe we can meet there one day.
Yeah, good.
Fashion.
Actually, ladies, I'm thinking about planning a retreat and a ways off, like maybe a year and a half. So doing like a singles type of retreat.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, maybe we should think about something like that. Would be kind of cool. But
yes.
But I figured, heck, we might as well plan it, right? We might as well get the wheels in motion.
We got the time. We might as well do the planning, and hopefully we can.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about our subject tonight. We're talking about stepping into your life. And so, Kim, I know you've had a lot of challenges with regards, to your life. And so now you're actually helping people through and you're being a sounding board for them through addiction and and abuse and such. So tell us a little bit about your journey, about where you got where you are today.
I suppose in a nutshell, my journey just starts from, I grew up in Florida, Tampa, Florida, where you guys are right now.
This is my niece, by the way. Everybody.
Yeah. I'm Kathy all my life.
My favorite relative.
Yeah, my favorite auntie. Okay, move on. So I left the US when I was 21. I can say that my childhood was pretty rough. And without expanding too much on that, I think we all have a story in that area. And then I came to Australia and met a guy, and then ended up staying here until now. But that guy that I met, we were together for almost 10 years, and yeah, it was a good relationship. And then I moved on and got married for 20 years. And that relationship ended because of drug abuse, physical, mental, all kinds of abuse going on in that marriage. And now I'm divorced as of 2 years now, almost 2 years, separated and divorced. And yeah, living life. It's just, sometimes I find now, like, the only thing that I really knew was being a mom. And I have 3 children, well, one's not a child anymore, 20, 17, and 15 now. And it's all I've ever known as being a mom. So I've started dating, and the guy that I'm dating, has opened my eyes up to, you know what? You got to figure out what you like, because I didn't really know what I liked. And I'm still working on that, because I just only knew how to be a mom. So now I'm starting to discover me now and doing new things. And yeah, it's been really good, Cece.
That's great.
You have
Kathy, the show's all about chicks' passion. And so I think that, some of the extra work that you're doing, Kim, is really helping those that are in need, but it's also created a passion for you. Go ahead, Kathy, and I'm sorry for interrupting.
That's okay. Well, the thing is, once you got away from the marriage and you're trying to figure out what to do with your life, and, the steps that you took to try to get to where you are now, joining the church that you're with, your group of people that gave you a lot of support, and then one thing led to another for you, right?
Yeah. For me, it was just because my mind was just going a million miles an hour, even to the point of maybe even going back to my abuser. And for me, it was just keeping busy. If I kept busy, then I didn't have to stop and think, So, and that's things like going to church saved me. It was just having things to do, even if it was just volunteering at the church, or then I got involved in this drug rehab thing, and then they asked me to come and work with them, and now I'm teaching classes and I'm helping people in their recovery, and it's just so it's almost like I've found my calling. And so I've decided to study deeper into this sort of thing. So I'm doing peer support worker, which is a diploma in that. And it's designed it's actually a new career that it's a new title to a job. It's a new title. That's the best way I can put it. Peer support position. And the only way that you can actually get into this course itself is that you have to have life lived experience in some kind of, mental illness, drugs and alcohol, something like that, abuse, whatever. You've got to have life experience in that. And I'm just really, really enjoying it. It's just right up my alley, and I love helping people, and, so it's really good.
I think that's great. And, sometimes it helps when you step out of your own world and you're into someone else's world for a while, and you have a more appreciation of what what they're going through, what you've gone through. It really kind of helps you to be able to see things a little bit clearer. And,
yeah.
So. Yeah.
And I tell you, my story is nothing compared to the things I've heard up till now. It's just, it's so inspirational to see some people have been so rock bottom low and brought their suffering.
When you start hearing other people's stories, it starts making your own story like, oh, well, I guess I really didn't have it so bad. But, Kim, you did have it bad.
It was rough. It was rough, but I've got this amazing ability to keep on smiling, and God's blessed me with it, seriously. yeah, there's probably some people that probably would have, gone a different way than I did. But I just, we all have our low moments. I have times where, I just go, I'm tired, but
Yeah.
we all have those, but I would say in general, I'm just a positive, happy person. And I think that's sometimes a negative for me because I always want everyone else to be happy too, so it can sometimes be backfire, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I totally get that because I'm like that too. I'm nurturer, you're a nurturer. And so I totally understand that. So you're, one of your priorities in life is always trying to make everyone else happy. And sometimes we're not, and so we put on that smiley face and we actually get out there and we continue on living life, but we're struggling, trying to get through things. And so, I do appreciate all that you've gone through because I think it's it's not something to take lightly, but it's also inspiring. And so, which is why I thought it would be so great to have you on the show here and help others to know that no matter what journey they're down, no matter what road they're on, whatever path they're at this very moment, there's always something, that's brighter on the other side. And like you said, there's always someone going through maybe something worse than what you think, your ultimate worst is. So,
Yes.
So thank you so much for coming on. Let's talk a little bit about, because we want to talk about some good and bright things. So let's talk a little bit about us living in Australia. So now coming from, the States and living into Australia, is there any one thing that you can think of that you love the most about the country itself?
Ooh, for me, it really wasn't a comparison between the US and Australia. It was more of the experience. So when I was in the US, I was actually struggling financially and, and it was just, life was quite hard for me. And at that time I was a dental assistant. So I was about 20-ish, 21. And, and I was pretty much working week to week. And I was earning in Florida, the wages are lower. I was earning enough to just pay my rent and maybe eat. I was really struggling. And so then this opportunity came to come to Australia, and it was only meant to be for a month holiday. And then I got here, and it was like straight away, these friends that I came here to see took me to work with them as a photographer. They were photographers. And then the boss handed me a camera and he's like, "Can you use this?" And I was like, yeah, you can. And they sent me out, and for the next 9 years, I was a photographer. So that's how I ended up staying here. But I would say it was the experience. So that 9 years of being here was the best years of my life. And it was so much fun. I was making so much money and so many friends and all this. And that was the difference for me. It was just the experience. So I always say, be where you're happy.
That's really good advice. And I think too, just listening to you speak, and I know Kathy very well, and the thoughts of really stepping out and being adventurous, because Kathy, you travel and you like to do, fun things and experiment on fun things.
I step out of my realm a lot. So
yeah.
Just to.
She goes in the yard now. She works in the garden.
Yeah, it's the garden, yeah.
I know. We've been on lockdown for God knows how long, but yeah. But yeah, someday we will. But I know that you do a lot of stuff. And so we have fun getting out. But you're right. It is about life experiences, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So where you live now, you were explaining to me where you live now is very similar to Florida. So tell us the area that you live in. Tell us the area that you did live in and that where you moved to, so people can get more familiar with where you're living.
Okay. So I do recommend to anybody Australia is a great destination for a holiday. And I'm not in the tourism industry in any way. I'm just saying I do recommend it. It's a wonderful place. And secondly, New Zealand, I just went there recently and beautiful. I
want to go there too.
Yeah, beautiful place. If you love, snowy, like skiing, if you love just beautiful scenery and the greenery and all that, it's just gorgeous. So, so back to when I first came to Australia, landed at the airport, I had no idea where I was going. Really, I really didn't. I was just like, going to Australia. But I didn't research it. I knew nothing about Australia. Got in the car, and the first thing I went was, what? We're on the right side of the road. So I was that dumbfounded about the whole thing. And then anyway, I ended up in the main city, which is Sydney, and it's just gorgeous. And I ended up working in tourism, doing the photography and such. And
the first time you went to Australia, the second time?
The first, what was that?
Are you talking about the first time or the second time you went to Australia?
The first time, yeah. Well, I only came the first time and never went back.
Oh, so, we went to Florida for a little while. Was that because you're...
Oh, when me and my husband came and lived there for a year and a half. Yes. We thought we'd test out, life in Florida for a little while. We lasted about 18 months, and we both at the end of it said, no, we'll go back. But so we ended up back here. But so I kind of, started off in Sydney, Australia, and was in the main, the city where the Harbour Bridge is and the Opera House, and that's where I worked and that's where I lived and all that. So it was just all exciting all the time. It was just wonderful. And then, the kids come and all that stuff happens. And then I ended up, what actually happened was back in 2016, things were really, really rough with my ex-husband and I. He had got right into the ICE epidemic, and, and he was full on into that. And it was just something horrible. And, every day it was a news story. But the biggest thing was he'd come and he'd be like, constantly accusing me of cheating on him. It was just drama all the time. And so he decided, I'm going to stop using drugs. And I'm like, good, of course. And so he tried to stop. And I'm like, okay, best thing to do is let's get out of Sydney, away from the friends, away from all that. And that's how we ended up in the Gold Coast. And that was 2016, and we came here, we bought a house, and doing life like we should, and the whole thing, the whole idea of let's have a brand new start and all that was working for a little while. And then he started meeting the same kind of friends again, and then the same sort of thing started happening again for the rest of those years up until I ended up leaving. But about the Gold Coast, Gold Coast is very similar to Florida, very similar. It's the tourist destination of the country. So, it's just like Florida, you want to, the Northerners want to go get away. They've got the little holiday house in Florida. It's a very similar situation. We've got SeaWorld and Movie World and all that stuff, the tourist.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and we're all, on the beach.
So about addiction, because I think that this is important to bring up, even though he tried to fight it, he tried to even moving to a whole nother area. Tell us a little bit, and you help people through addiction. Tell us a little bit about that. How difficult that is, not only for the person that's going through it, but also for the family. Can you give any advice to anyone who might be struggling?
Yes. Well, my first bit of advice, if I was talking to my younger self, I would have left this relationship 10 years ago. Because I was just wasting my time trying to save And, you know, somebody's addicted to drugs.
We're freezing.
Not. Are we still?
Yeah,
Yeah, we had a
little freeze.
Are we back
moment
together
there.
again? Yeah. So yeah, what I was saying is that you know, don't, if you can possibly avoid it, don't stay in a relationship that's as toxic as mine was.
As much as you love the person, you know, just you got to move on. You know, you do all you can.
You know what, Kathy? I came to the conclusion after my divorce is that I did not love the man. I did not love him, and I stopped loving him 10 years ago when he showed me it was just me holding on because I'm a fixer. I got to fix this guy. But I stopped loving him a long time ago and didn't even know it. So, and that's why I regret staying an extra 10 years.
And that was before he started the drugs?
No, that was after he started using.
Okay.
Yeah, so
it's what you're saying is that you were in love with the man that you met, but he became someone else, and you still stayed, you know, because you were hoping that it would get better, or you could fix it, or something would happen. And I think that happens a lot to people that are in relationships, because we evolve, don't we, as human beings? We evolve, and you know, he really evolved very quickly into something else. But so that, you know, that is very hard. So what about the family dynamics of that? You know, your kids and everything. How are they now? I mean, I'm sure that had to be really tough on them.
Well, you know, my kids, I'll tell you the catalyst that happened was the very last time that me and the children fled would be the better word, from the home. And we, you know, as usual, off to, you know, one of the women's refuges. You've got to call this secret number and go to this place and whatever. And so I'm on the phone, and I get off the phone, and my daughter looks at me. We're in the car. This is just after the trauma, and we're all kind of having the shakes and everything. And she looks at me and she goes, "Mom," she goes, "you may as well just go back home." And I went, "Why?" And she's like, "Because you're going to go back anyway." And that just kind of made me just, it was whoa. It was a whoa moment for me. So I was like, wow, that really hit the spot for me. You know, she just told me good. So we went to this woman's refuge, and then another thing happened, which was another whoa moment. We get to this place, and my other kid says to me, "Oh, Mom, I remember this one. I like this one." And I'm like, what the, like, you know, like these kids are not used to women's refuges, you know? So it was all kind of hitting me at that moment. And that was the last time, and I never did go back after that. And I think I can thank my daughter for that, and she knows that because I have thanked her.
That's great. You know, sometimes it takes some time for our eyes to open up and realize that we need to make a move. We need to do something. That, you know, it doesn't make you a bad person for trying. You know, certainly doesn't. But sometimes you have to rescue yourself. You know, before he can be rescued, you've got to rescue yourself, right?
Absolutely, Cece. And one other thing that I wanted to mention, I'm not sure if I ever told you this, Kathy, but my oldest son, Jordan, who's 20 now, he, when we moved to the Gold Coast, refused to go to school. He was like, I'm not going.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. And I was just like, I was having tantrums every morning about it. I'm like, you've got to go to school. What's wrong with you, kid? You know? And it was a daily battle. So anyway, I actually moved him back to Sydney, back to his own school where he kind of grew up at, and that's what he wanted to do. And, you know, that was the hardest thing I ever had to do, like move my son. And at this stage, my oldest son was not talking to my husband at all for quite a long time. And I think it was in total 4 years they didn't speak to each other. anyway, so my son and I were talking one day, and I said, what was that all about? You know, you refusing to go to school and all this. And he says, you want the truth? I said, of course. He says, I was worried about you. I didn't want to go to school in fear of what was going to happen to you while I was at school. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this poor kid, the way I abused him verbally, you know, in the morning before school every day, you gotta go. And, you know, all this, I felt so horrible. I was like, oh my God. And so, you know, even though I didn't know it, sending him to Sydney was the best thing I could have ever done for him, because now he's graduated and he's studying to be a pilot. And he's following his dreams, and I'm just so got the chills, so happy, happy that you know we made it. Yeah,
that's wonderful. Well, maybe he'll get on like a commercial airline and get us discount so we can come and see. Tell him to hurry up.
He was supposed to come to Florida this summer, and then because of the virus thing, it just
Yes.
And you sound like you're a great mom. You really are. And, you know, you've done the best that you could do in the circumstances.
Got loving kids. And she's a loving mother. And, you know, it's just,
Yeah.
In spite of everything.
Yeah. You know, growing up with a mom who was quite distant, and Kathy would know, quite neglectful, you know, I just, always never, I think I overcompensated because I never wanted my kids to ever feel unloved. And so I just loved them so much. I just, you know, kissed them when I could and hugged them when I could. And then, you know, as they grew older, I did realize that I was overcompensating and this is not good. So I've kind of, now that they're getting older, I'm backing off a bit, giving them some breathing room and some space. And, you know, but hey, none of us are perfect. We try, we do the best we can. But one thing I know, and I can die knowing this, I know my kids know that they are loved.
Oh, that's nice. I know. I told my daughter, I said, hey, you didn't come with a manual, you know. I don't really know what I'm doing. And I was a kid, you know, I was very young, and, you know, so we kind of grew up together. And I said, geez, I just don't know, you know, I'm just doing the best that I can do. And it's tough when you've got life, you know, that's kind of in the way. You know, you've got circumstances that happen, things that are going on around you, especially if they're negative. It's really hard to grow up yourself and then to raise your family, your kids at the same time. So yeah, I totally get that. So yeah.
I don't know if I'll ever grow up. I still act like it.
Well, you're anything like me, probably.
Now you sound like Kathy.
What?
I said, that sounds like you. I don't know if I'll ever grow up.
I know.
I don't know. It's too much fun, you know, just having that sense of childish mentality. Not, you know, we got to do things that are mature. We got to make wise decisions and such, and learn from our mistakes. But you know, you got to keep that little kid in you somewhere.
You do. You really do.
Mm-hmm.
Keep that smile going.
The time we go through, and Kathy, maybe you might relate to this too, is that there's a time we go to when we're single that it hits us that we're single, and then we have this freedom, right? We feel we have this freedom that we can do what we want to do, make decisions, and kind of be a little cuckoo, you know, be a little off the charts, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've got the little cuckoo sometimes.
You know, we get our wine and we start drinking, and then we think we're being really adventurous, but yeah. Our high heels is what we do. We do it very gracefully.
I did go through a phase when I first, you know, separated from my ex-husband. I went through a phase where, you know, I was kind of like, okay, who am I? So I threw away all my clothes, everything I owned.
That sounds like weird. You just seem really drastic.
Yeah, I know. I threw away everything, because I didn't want anything to remind me of, and you know, and it was just they were all old lady clothes anyway, so it didn't really matter. And because all I ever wore was
she froze.
things, and yeah.
You froze there for a minute.
I'm not frozen.
Okay, you're not there.
Am I okay now?
But yeah, so you threw away the old lady clothes and you went out and got new. Well, the other thing is too, is I think that when we realize that we're single, we go through a phase where we want to lose weight, we want to look good, we want to try different makeup, different hairstyles.
Yeah.
And throw caution to the wind, right?
Yeah. I think I kind of went a little bit overboard, not too bad, because
be right back.
Okay.
We have to dress our age and stuff like. We don't have to dress like we're old, but we do have to, maintain some kind of, decency about us.
Well, I've always been kind of bad, and I remember one time I had to go to a PTA meeting, right? And I was single at the time, and I remember my kids were young, and I remember my daughter saying, "Mom, don't wear the leather mini skirt," because I used to wear mini skirts so unbelievable. And back then I had a really great figure, and I used to run 3 miles every day, and I was, into all this stuff. Yeah. And I wore leather mini skirts all the time. And she said, "Don't wear the leather mini skirt." And I realized then that my kids were actually embarrassed with me because I was much younger. I was a younger mom because I had my older children very young. And so I was the young mom, right? So I can imagine what they thought and what some of the teachers and the parents might have thought when I go walking in with
Harper Valley PTA.
I know. Okay. You can pull it off, then pull it off, I mean, you do it,
Yeah. Look good in it, do it. Yeah, for sure.
I can't do it now. I mean, if I had waited when I was older.
I know. Take advantage of it while you got it.
Yeah, that's right.
You do look good, Cece. Though, don't put yourself down there.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. But
hey, we should have a black boots night.
Oh, that's a good idea. I like that.
Black boots night. Well, it's like 90 degrees here. We not be wearing black boots now. What's the weather there? What's the temperature?
Well, we're in winter, but our winter is just like your Florida winter. So we can still walk around and, just sleeves or something. You don't really need jackets and such.
Yeah, we're just the opposite of us. And like in the winter time, it's summer here, and but the temperature's the same.
That's great. Right. When we come and visit, we'll get out of the heat here, and it'll be a little cooler there.
Exactly. That's what I was saying to my partner. I was just saying to him, how nice would it be to just, because Gold Coast winters are wonderful, beautiful, and but summers are hot and humid. It's really, I can say, to the point of miserable. So how beautiful would it be to live 6 months here and 6 months in New Zealand?
Because I hear New Zealand is beautiful. I hear New Zealand is really
beautiful. Yes, really beautiful.
Years ago, I was a recruiter, and I used to put people in Australia and New Zealand, and they really like the areas there. So Sydney was a big area that I used to do a lot of recruiting. So So this is really great. It's so nice to be able to connect with you, and our time is going by really quickly. And so
our time always goes by so fast. We need to make this a 2-hour meeting.
Because it's just chatting, girls chatting, and we learn about a lot about each other and about different things. And what the biggest thing is, it's and I know we talk about our passions and stuff, but it's really our journeys in life that create who we are. It's some of the obstacles that we come across that really shape us to who we become. And it's very fascinating to meet inspiring women and also men. I'm not saying that men aren't inspiring, but it's just inspiring to see people that have come from huge challenges in their lives, and have circled around. And not only have they really overcome those challenges, but they go on to help other people like you're doing. And it's just a amazing. You're a delight and an inspiration, and thank you so much. Yeah.
My pleasure. It's been great talking to you guys.
So are there any takeaways, any last minute, things that you'd like to share with the audience? Putting you on the spot?
Yeah, put me on the spot.
I usually put Kathy on the spot, but now I'm doing it to you.
Well, I can just comment on the things that I really miss about America. And it's all to do with food.
You got me again.
Yeah, and I miss the junk stuff. I love Steak and Shake. I love
Steak and Shake.
Yeah. And Reese's Cups, will die for those.
Oh.
Yes, like there's a few things. A1 sauce. Oh my gosh.
A1 sauce. Oh my God, I love it.
Oh, I never have that. I never eat that.
I don't like it. Those are some of the things that I can't really get here, and I miss. And then there's other things here that you don't get over there. You girls should all buy a pair of UGG boots. They're wonderful. UGG boots.
Oh, UGG boots. Oh yes, I have heard of those UGG boots.
Yes, everybody needs a pair of UGG boots. They're just
you
awesome.
probably have one in your closet, I would think. She's got a whole room. She's dedicated an entire room for her closet.
My bedroom. One of my spare bedroom is a closet.
Is a closet.
Okay.
She made it a closet.
And the closet in that room is the shoe closet.
Well, I used to steal Kathy's shoes to go to school. Nothing really fit me properly.
You probably didn't miss those shoes either, right?
I don't think I did.
I'd always put them back. Just borrow them for them
back.
Well, I always say that a woman does not have to say how old she is. She can fib about how old she is, and she can fib about how many pairs of high heels she owns. So I think that goes with it. So, but I think it's great that Kathy's got her own, well, she got your own space, so you got your own closet, that you can organize and enjoy, and yeah.
I'm trying to make it into a bedroom again someday.
Nah, don't worry. But you need it. I mean,
an add-on to the house just for your shoes.
Yeah. Good enough here. Make a second floor.
There you go.
A pull-down thing that you can just walk up there. Your little secret storeroom for your shoes.
That's right.
Well, with a 3-bedroom house, I don't use 2 of the bedrooms, so one of them might as well be a closet.
Might as well.
Yeah, you can make it into a fancy closet. Yeah, no, I agree. I think you should. I don't think you did. I think it's a great idea. I don't have that many. You know what? I don't have hardly that many clothes. I don't have.
Well, I shouldn't have that many clothes. I'm trying to get rid of a lot of clothes.
Well, for me, I've gained weight. So what happened was I got rid of all of the older clothes that I couldn't wear anymore, because somebody told me that you won't lose weight if you have all these things, waiting. It's like clutters your mind or whatever. So I got rid of all of those clothes. Still have not lose weight, but now I won't buy clothes because I want to lose weight, right? So I'm like in between, but yeah. So I just have a section of winter things, and most of it's like jackets and stuff, which you don't throw away jackets here, because we hardly ever wear. Sometimes we can't wear them again because maybe they're out of style. And then I just have a small section, and then we wear shorts all the time. So yeah, so we.
And you don't have that leather skirt anymore?
I don't.
I need
your audience, send me a leather skirt. I need one.
And black boots. I love my boots.
I do have boots, yeah. But you know what? I'm not to the point where I can't wear really stiletto heels anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, they hurt. They hurt.
Yeah, I struggle with that now. I still have some, but I've gotten rid of most of them. I mean, because I had some that were like 4-inch heels.
It's a toss up. Do you want to fall down and break your ankle and have to be on crutches for 6 months, or do you want to look sexy for one night and then fall down in front of everybody?
I'll break my ankle. You know why?
Why?
I'm so short. I have to wear heels.
Oh, are you? How tall are you?
I'm only 5'1" and shrinking.
Wow.
She's only an inch shorter than I am.
Yeah.
I'm
5'8". I'm 5'8". And I'll tell you a funny story. One time I had on the really high heels, and I mean like really high ones. And I went to a networking meeting, right? And so I went into this meeting. My girlfriend said, "Come to this meeting. There's lots of guys." And it's like when I first got divorced, and I go, "Okay, all right, go." So I get running late, and I get there, and they're all down like a level, right? But there's a whole bunch of guys, a whole bunch of people. My eyes are on the guys, right? And so I'm looking for her, right? And I finally see her. So I step forward, not realizing there's a step there. And so when I step forward, I start to fall. And as I start to fall, this guy, gorgeous guy, reaches out to me. And I kind of, instead of like, how you see in the movies, how you fall in their arms. Oh no, I ripped his shirt off his back. I just ripped it right off.
Oh my God.
I was so embarrassed. This poor guy. And I said, "Well, you're my, knight in shining armor."
I have done that. I missed a step and fell down, and there was a step in this house that I was in, and houses aren't supposed to have steps, in the living room. So I'm walking on what I thought was a flat floor, and I walked, and I, of course, I stepped down, and I fell right on both of my knees slammed, and it was hurt so bad. And of course, it was in a party too, and everybody went, "Oh
no!"
And then I'm like, "I'm okay now." How do you do it? How do you do it?
Graceful, right? The things we do in high heels, I tell you. But I think if I had the leather miniskirt on, I don't think the guy would have minded if I ripped his clothes off of him. Well, now that we're here.
Kathy, for the rest of the night, you were known as the girl who fell down the step.
Yeah.
Are you okay? Are you okay?
She fell on her knees.
The things we go through. Well, you're a delight, Kim. Thank you so much for being on. Is there anything we're missing that we should share? I want to make sure that we cover.
No, I think that was a pretty lighthearted, fun sort of introduction, and I was also delighted to be on. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, it's great having you. Absolutely great having you. And I know that your life has not been easy, and we don't want to make that. We don't make light of that. It's just we admire you for all that you've endured and come across, and how you've built yourself up, and how you're helping other people. And so we want to make sure that those out there that are struggling, they have a place. And so I want to share with everyone here before we close. Mental illness and substance abuse is a serious matter. And so we have on our site here the hotline. So it's a Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration hotline. That's here in the States. It's 1-800-662-4357. So if you are in need and you really do feel that you need help, whether it's through substance abuse or mental illness, if you're going through something, or a family member is going through something, call this hotline. Try to get help and try to be able to move forward in your life and do it the right way. So again, the phone number is 1-800-662-4357. So we do appreciate Kim being on. This is Kim Walker, all the way from Australia. Thank you so much. She is the niece of Kathy. So it's great having her on. You're a delight for sure.
Thank you very much, Cece and Kathy. Love you always.
Thank you. Kathy, is there anything you want to say? Any last words?
I just, with all the things that we talked about, is that I think the main thing that we lesson to get out of it is to just try to overcome the obstacles that get in your way, and realize when something is an obstacle, and try to just work on that, and just move on to the better place that you could be.
Yeah, that's great advice. Absolutely great advice. So you guys, we're on WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. We're a radio, TV, and podcast station. We're the #1 internet singles talk network. You can find us right on goingsolomedia.com. It's right there for you to be able to get it. We are a bi-weekly show. We're here at 9 p.m. bi-weekly every Thursday, every other Thursday. And so Kathy and I, we do the Chicks a Passion, and so that's what it's about. If you'd like to be a guest, we'd love to have you. So we appreciate everything, and we want to thank you again, Kim Walker, for being on the show with us.
Thank you, Kim.
Welcome.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.